Hey there, traders and investors. Welcome back to our channel, where we break down the US stock market in plain, no-nonsense terms. Today is December 4th, 2024, and wow, what a trading session we had. If you're looking to get caught up on today's action and prep for the next trading day, stick around because this one's packed with insights. Let's start with the big three indices, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. Each one told a different story today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose moderately by 0.6%, buoyed by strong performances from blue-chip companies like Johnson & Johnson and Boeing. Industrial stocks are starting to look like a solid bet again, especially with the ongoing infrastructure projects ramping up across the US. The S&P 500 was relatively flat, edging up just 0.2%. But don't let that fool you, it masked a lot of volatility underneath. Technology and healthcare stocks dragged it down, while energy and financials lent some much-needed support. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ composite slid by 1.1%, as high-growth tech stocks faced profit-taking after their November rally. Heavyweights like Tesla and Nvidia led the decline, but some smaller biotech names managed to buck the trend. Let's dig a little deeper into the sectors driving the market today. Energy. Crude oil prices rallied above $85 a barrel, giving energy stocks like Chevron and ExxonMobil a much-needed boost. OPEC Plus talks about maintaining supply cuts added fuel to the fire. Financials. Bank stocks saw a pop after comments from the Federal Reserve hinted at a more cautious approach to future rate hikes. Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase were among the biggest gainers. Technology. The tech sector struggled today, with semiconductor stocks taking the hardest hit. AMD and Intel lost ground as analysts cut earnings estimates due to weaker global chip demand. Retail. It's December, and retail is in focus. Amazon and Walmart posted gains after Black Friday sales exceeded expectations, but there's concern about how holiday spending will hold up as we approach year-end. Now, let's talk about some individual stock stories that made headlines today. Apple AAPL shares dipped 2% after reports of production delays for the iPhone 16 due to supply chain bottlenecks in Asia. Ford this stock climbed 3% on news that its electric vehicle sales surged 40% in November compared to the same time last year. Rivian on the flip side, Rivian saw a 6% drop after it slashed its Q4 production forecast, citing battery shortages. Pfizer PFE healthcare giant Pfizer gained 1.5% after releasing promising trial data for its new cancer drug. On the macroeconomic front, we got a mixed bag of news. ADP employment report, private payrolls grew by 140,000 jobs in November, which was below estimates. This adds to the growing narrative that the labor market is cooling, but hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing for inflation. Service sector activity. The ISM non-manufacturing PMI came in at 56.2, higher than expected, showing that the services side of the economy is still humming along nicely. Fed watch. All eyes are on the Fed meeting next week. Markets are pricing in an 80% chance that rates will stay steady, but everyone's dissecting every word from Fed officials for clues about 2024. So, what does this mean for tomorrow's session? Let's break it down. Tech stocks. Expect more pressure on tech, especially in semiconductors, but keep an eye on smaller AI-focused firms, which have been surprisingly resilient. Energy. With oil prices climbing, energy stocks could continue their upward momentum. Watch for any updates from OPEC Plus overnight. Consumer discretionary. Retail stocks may get another boost if holiday spending trends hold up. Pay close attention to earnings releases from smaller retail chains. Economic data. Tomorrow, we'll get the latest weekly jobless claims report. If it shows a bigger than expected rise, that could signal more softness in the labor market, which could actually calm inflation fears and support equities. Before we wrap up, here are a couple of tips for navigating the market tomorrow. Stay diversified. Don't let today's tech slump scare you out of the sector entirely. Consider balancing with sectors like energy and financials. Keep an eye on volatility. The VIX is hovering around 16, which is low historically, but any unexpected geopolitical or economic news could send it higher. Set realistic targets. With year-end approaching, institutional investors are locking in gains, so be cautious about chasing big moves. And that's your wrap-up for December 4th, 2024, along with what to watch for in tomorrow's session. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more daily updates. Also, let us know in the comments which stocks or sectors you're keeping an eye on. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.